Super Microcomputer had an absolute roller coaster of a 2024, but what could that lead to in 2025? In today's video, we're going to take a look at a number of different factors that led to the major dips in Super Microcomputer's stock price over 2024, as well as some potential catalysts in 2025 that could lead to some positive upside in the stock. We will also take a look at a number of different key metrics for this company and what they could mean moving forward for the stock. 2024 was an absolutely amazing year for this channel, and that is thanks to you guys and all the support you've been showing on the channel overall. We hit the 4K mark just a couple days after the new year. The goal was to hit it by New Year's Day, but we missed by a couple days. I am not upset at all about that. That is so motivating, especially leading into 2025, to keep the ball rolling and keep improving on this channel and providing you guys with the best content possible. If you enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like down below and subscribe for more videos like this one. Before we jump into Super Microcomputer, let's take a look at the YouTube portfolio. Currently, it's sitting at a value of $58,296.70. Currently, I don't have a position in Super Microcomputer, but I could see that changing. We'll discuss that a little more at the end of the video, but right now we have positions in Alibaba, Google, Apple, Microsoft, Palantir, PayPal, SoFi, and Visa. Our top performing position right now is Palantir, up 750%, followed by Apple up 400%, Microsoft up just under 300%, and then SoFi up 150%. And then we also own a couple dividend ETFs, SCHD up around 12 to 13%, and VYM up around 20%. And our cash pile is sitting pretty healthy right now at $12,896.81. One stock I've paid very close attention to over the last few months has been Super Microcomputer. Super Microcomputer started 2024 with a run-up of over 300%, peaking at a stock price of around $120 per share. However, from that point on, the stock fell by almost 85% to its 52-week lows of around $18 per share. It's rebounded slightly since then to around $33.33 currently. They have faced a number of different issues in 2024, but a lot of them have surrounded regulatory problems with the SEC or NASDAQ. In August, the company came out and said that they would not be able to file their annual report in time for the SEC. This led to a notable short seller by the name of Hindenburg Research coming out and saying that there was fresh evidence of accounting manipulation, which eventually in October, Ernest Young, which is Super Microcomputer's auditor, resigned, leading to the stock falling by 33%. Eventually, an independent board ended up stepping in and evaluating Super Microcomputer's numbers, and they did not find any misconduct. However, interestingly enough, they did recommend that the company replace their CFO. To me, this recommendation doesn't make a whole lot of sense because they're saying that the company didn't perform any financial misconduct. However, they should replace the person in charge of their finances. It feels like there's probably something going on, maybe specific to the CFO and what they are saying, and that is a little bit concerning to this independent committee, and that's why they're recommending that the CFO be let go. But ultimately, they did re-sign a new auditor in November. They signed with BDO as their new auditing firm. This is going to be the third auditing firm that they've had in the last couple of years. So clearly there's something going on with this company. And because all of this has been going on, Super Microcomputer has been at risk of being delisted from the NASDAQ altogether for the second time in their history because of these delayed financial reports. However, as of 2 weeks ago, they did receive an extension until February of 2025 to get these financial reports in. But this didn't stop the NASDAQ from removing Super Microcomputer from the NASDAQ 100, which is made up of the top 100 non-financial stocks in the NASDAQ. It's also known as the QQQ or Triple Q if you're looking for its ETF. It was removed with Illumina and Moderna, while Axion, Palantir, and MicroStrategies were all added to the index. With the removal of the stock from the NASDAQ 100, we saw its price fall by around 30% in just a couple of weeks. However, here today on January 3rd, the stock has spiked up around 11% on the back of some very interesting news. And that's on news that one of the AI leaders, Microsoft, is looking to increase their spending in 2025. They spent a total of $53 billion in 2024 on capital expenditures, with the large majority of that being focused around data center AI infrastructure. That is expected to increase to $80 billion in 2025. This is an increase of spending of around 51% year over year, and that is obviously going to have a huge impact on Nvidia's numbers, but it's also going to impact companies like AMD and Super Microcomputer. Super Microcomputer is a big player in this game, and they're certainly going to be impacted by additional spending in this industry as they partner with a lot of the major players like AMD, like Nvidia, and even Intel to try and build out some of these server racks for this AI infrastructure. And one key difference that this company has over a lot of other players in the semiconductor industry is the breakdown of their revenue by region. 61% of Supermicro's revenue comes from the US, with 24% of it coming from Asia. When you hear Asia, the first country you think of is China. And China has obviously had a number of different issues, not only with their economy, but also with trade between the US and China, especially when it comes to GPUs and AI technology. So this at first would be very concerning, seeing this 24% number. However, less than 1% of their total revenue comes from China. So over the last year or two, they've been able to avoid a lot of these issues between the US and China, and that's allowed them to continue growing at a very fast pace. Right now, their year-over-year revenue is growing by almost 150%. In their most recent quarter, they brought in $5.3 billion, and right now their trailing 12-month revenue is sitting just under $15 billion. But keep in mind that these numbers are from August 6th of 2024. That's when they reported $5.3 billion of revenue and 62 cents of EPS. Since that time, they were supposed to report their Q1 fiscal year 25 results on November 5th of 2024. However, because they lost their auditing firm and had to search for a new firm, they have not released audited results yet for that quarter. However, if you trust this company, you can actually go on their website and find unaudited financial results for the first quarter of fiscal year 2025. And according to these results, they posted revenue for the quarter of $5.9 to $6 billion compared to guidance of $6 to $7 billion. Their GAAP EPS numbers came in around 68 cents to 70 cents compared to previous guidance of 60 to 77 cents, as well as non-GAAP EPS numbers came in at 75 to 76 cents per share compared to guidance of 67 to 83 cents per share. And for the second quarter, they provided guidance of around $5.5 to $6.1 billion of revenue with GAAP EPS numbers of 48 to 58 cents per share. If we take their unaudited results as well as their guidance and graph them, we can see that it appears that their revenue is leveling off around this $5 to $6 billion mark, and that is causing some of their growth to fall off a little bit. We saw 180% growth in their last quarter for their unaudited results, and if they come through with the low end of their guidance numbers, that would equate to 50% growth in this next quarter. That's because they're starting to comp against much higher numbers year over year. So yes, growth does appear to be slowing down for this company. However, that doesn't consider the fact that Microsoft may be increasing their spending in this industry, and that is going to have an impact on Supermicro's revenue numbers. On top of that, you are getting this company for a rock bottom valuation right now. The forward PE for this company is sitting at a 9.8. That is almost 3 times lower than the NASDAQ 100. For reference, the NASDAQ 100 is currently trading at a valuation of 26.37. We can use this to do a little bit of math to try and predict the price of Supermicro if it were to trade in line with the valuation of the NASDAQ 100. All we have to do is take the current price of Supermicro around $33.50 currently, multiply it by the potential valuation, so 26.37, and then divide by 9.8, and that gets us a price target if Supermicro were to trade in line with the NASDAQ 100 in terms of valuation of $90 per share. And there's solid top and bottom line projected growth for this company into the future. For 2025, analysts are expecting EPS to grow to $2.78 from $2.21 in 2024. And then in 2026, those numbers are expected to jump again to $3.69. And for 2025, analysts are expecting revenue to grow by 66.23%. We saw earlier in the video that 180% growth in Q1. Keep in mind, again, that was unaudited results. For Q2, we based that number for that 50% growth off of the low end of their guidance. So if they come in higher or towards the higher end of their guidance, we could see that be closer to the 66% number. And then if we start seeing Microsoft spending additional money next year, that could also be a catalyst for higher revenue numbers. For next year in 2026, they're only expecting growth of 20.7%. Again, if we see a lot of these companies increase their capital spending over the next couple years, that could impact this number as well, and we could see potentially higher growth numbers. And honestly, I think a number of different companies could actually increase their spending on AI infrastructure over the next couple of years, especially if Microsoft has came out and announced that they are planning to. This is a very competitive industry, and if one company is increasing their spending, it's going to cause a lot of other companies to increase their spending. That's why for me, I could see me adding a super microcomputer position to my portfolio. It's not going to be very large. We're only talking maybe $1,000 to $2,000, but I think even if there isn't a massive increase in their revenue or bottom line numbers, we could see some of these other issues start to subside, and that could drive up the stock price maybe 20 to 30 or even 50% in just a matter of a couple of months as they start getting some of these auditing concerns behind them. And as I always say, do not buy a company just because some random guy on YouTube talked about it. Make sure you are doing your own research and looking into companies that meet your risk tolerance as well as your time horizon. With all of that said though, I do really appreciate all the support you guys showed in 2024, and I'm looking forward to 2025 and what we can do with this channel. Thank you guys so much again. Drop a like down below if you've enjoyed and subscribe for more videos like this one. And as always guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. And for the joke of the day, what kind of math do snowy owls do best? Check the comments down below for the answer. Thanks for watching.